How much do you honestly spend on coffee?
Oh, I worked it out the other day. Don't tell my husband, it's about 700 dirham a month on coffee.
Times that by 12.
I can't give up coffee.
8,500 dirhams.
Hi, my name is Lucy. I'm a freelance VIP flight attendant. I've lived in the UAE for 17 years and I'm a mother to twin girls.
Welcome, Lucy, to Your Money Matters, the show that enables you to make better financial decisions, brought to you by First Abu Dhabi Bank. So, Lucy, how can I help you today?
Okay, well, to be honest, I'm not very good with managing my finances. It's coming up to the festive month. I've got flights home to the UK. I've got to buy presents for my daughters, for all my family, and it's always quite a social time.
Well, take some comfort in the fact that there'll be lots of people watching this that will relate to exactly what you said. In fact, the statistics tell us that only 38% of people in the UAE put any money aside for a rainy day, for an unexpected expense going out the door. Add to that, we've got research that tells us that around the holiday season, we can expect to pay at least 6,000 dirhams out on gifts.
I probably spend even more than that.
Just give me a little bit more clues as to how I can help you by telling me, how do you manage money? Like, what does the finances look in Lucy's life?
Well, I struggle a little bit because I never know when my next paycheck's coming in from a flight. So generally I try and do a daily budget. So I set myself a target, okay, today I'm only going to spend that much, but often I will spend a lot over that budget.
Good news.
Yep.
There's a really quick, easy fix that you need to be looking at straight away.
Okay.
So right now, Lucy, I'm afraid to tell you, you're blind. You have no idea what's going on with your finances.
Yeah, I need to write it down, yeah?
You need to write it down, you need to capture this. What you're looking at is on a daily basis. So you can't see what that looks like over a month or a year. What's going to enable you to take control is if you start tracking it on a daily basis, but then build up your monthly picture. So then you'll know how much you're spending on a monthly basis, and then look and take a real helicopter view, and that will help you build up what Team Lucy's life looks like over a year. And the first step, look at your regular expenditures. So the things that you know you're always going to have to pay.
What do you mean by regular?
So here in the UAE, looking at your utility bills, your water, your electricity, any school fees that are going out the door, your rent or your mortgage, things that you know you have to pay each month.
Okay.
So that's your regular expenditure. So what you need to do is build that up so you know that month by month, that's what I need to be paying out. The next thing is for you to then be able to expect the unexpected.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, these are irregular expenses. So tell me, over the past 12 months, what have you spent money on that you didn't expect to spend money on?
Irregular expenses. My car blew up a couple of months ago. That was definitely an irregular expense. I had to buy a new car.
A real quick trick is to go back 12 months. Just go back 12 months and look at what you spent on stuff that wasn't in that bucket that said the regular expenses. So it wasn't a utility, it wasn't a school fee, it wasn't rent or your mortgage, but it was those extras. Look at that.
How can I think back? I mean, I've got quite a bad memory. How is it good to sort of keep track of what you've spent over the previous months?
Well, I mean, thankfully, with your bank account, with your credit cards, not only do you have your monthly statements, you've also on your phone often got a whole bank of text messages that will depressingly remind you what you've been spending.
Often I don't want to look back over that.
Lots of people are scared about really diving in and taking a look at what they're spending. So you need to build up that picture of actually what Lucy's life is costing. And that's Lucy's life with your kids, with your husband, with your career, and with your social life. You need that real picture, because once you've got that real figure, which is the regular and the irregular, that's your real life figure. Okay. And then you can times that by 12, and then you have control because you know what it's going to cost you to be you right now with everything you're spending money on right now. One, you've got your figure of your income and your figure of your outgoings.
Yep.
The real figure of your outgoings with those coffees. And how much do you honestly spend on coffee?
Oh, I worked it out the other day. Don't tell my husband, it's about 700 dirham a month on coffee.
Times that by 12.
I can't give up coffee.
8,500 dirhams.
Okay.
Okay, but so there's an opportunity there, but that's why this is so important, because you pull that out of the dark and it's all there in front of you. You can take control on it, and you can look at what's negotiable and what's non-negotiable.
Syrup out of coffee, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. That's also going to be a bit healthier for you.
Save 6 dirham a day.
6 dirham a day?
Yeah.
Times that by
Okay,
365.
yeah.
You see how it all begins to add up? It's really, really simple. So outgoings, incoming. And then you can build up that picture and you go, right, okay, I now know what I need to make. And you can track it on a monthly basis. Then on top of that, we need to start talking about your emergency fund. You ever had an emergency fund?
I'll be honest, I used to have an emergency fund and then I had children, so it's slowly depleted. So I don't really have an emergency fund.
And very specifically, and particularly as when we're expats, it's a very good idea to do this, which is have 3 to 6 months of what real world Lucy's cost looks like put away. So if that figure is, whatever that figure is, times that by 6 and have that somewhere where it's sat there, untouchable, not in your current account, but somewhere off to the side, so that should there be a unforeseen health problem or should there be an employment problem, you've got the flexibility to weather that period until you can put the solution in place.
So there's like my average monthly income times 6 saved, put away.
Yeah, not your income, your expenditure.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm not that good at saving.
And here's the thing as well, like again, for that expenditure, once you know what it costs you, and you times that by the 6, then you put that to a side. But once you've got those figures, you've got the income versus the expenditure, you also then can look at, okay, so actually over the course of 12 months, I spent that, but I made that. And there's a chunk of cash there that I didn't even see because I'm tracking everything on a daily basis. And then you can start thinking about how you put that to better work for yourself. One of the key ways to get there is a thing called pay yourself first. Do you pay yourself first, Lucy?
I've not heard of that concept before. Pay yourself first.
Super simple. If you think about how we live our lives, and 99% of people live this way, we will pay our regular outgoings, the monthly rent, the mortgage. We will pay for the nights out, the dinners, the soft plays for our children. So you pay all of that, and then you will get to the end of the month, and then you will go, oh, I can afford to save this.
Yes. Yeah, I used to be like that. Yeah. I'd always put a little bit away at the end of the month, but never at the beginning of the month.
And here's why you should do that. You should take that, well, as soon as the money comes in, you put it to that separate savings space before you pay any of the bills. Then that pot always grows without fail.
Okay.
And then you pay your regular expenses, those expenses that you have to pay. And then what's left, that's the negotiable pot. That's how many coffees is Lucy going to drink this? Or how many
How many am I allowed?
How many allowed? Or how many are going to have syrup in? Or how many brunches? Or how many soft plays? Or how many, this time I don't buy the toy. Which can be hard. It requires discipline, but it requires you to pay yourself first. And that's the one thing I want you to think about. Because if you do that, then you start
building up savings.
You start building up savings, and you can prioritize. You can prioritize to your emergency fund. And then once you've got to there, you can prioritize to saving up for your holiday. You talk about the festive period, you've got your twins' birthdays on New Year's Eve, you're going to have relatives coming to visit that you're going to have to do entertaining. You say you're very sociable and you're off and out, so you start saving now. Think about what that looks like in 12 months' time. I'd say common wisdom, sometimes they say put 10% aside. With you as well, because you're never quite sure what's going to be coming in, but all of us can afford to put 1,000 dirhams aside.
Yeah, that's doable.
That's doable.
Yeah.
You think about that times 12. We talked about your coffees times 12, which is nearly that 1,000 dirhams. But if you think about that over 12 months, all of a sudden that's 12,000 dirhams. And your holiday season next year looks a lot more comfortable than this holiday season.
And you're not digging into
extra
finances.
Exactly. And then the final thing is, if you've got emergency funds sorted, holiday funds sorted, you're putting money away into a savings account, then you can even start thinking about investing. But let's perhaps
I'm a little bit way off the investing, but definitely, yeah.
So what would your takeaways be from this conversation? What do you want to try and start doing first?
I think I have to think about managing my finances better and not thinking on a daily basis, but thinking a bit more ahead. And definitely I think I need an app or a spreadsheet to start writing things down, because I think it would then make me acknowledge how much I'm spending daily.
Yeah, and don't be scared of that process. Get those figures out of the dark and into the light, because then that will enable you to make much better financial decisions. When it comes to your personal finances, knowledge is very definitely power.
I think it is a bit scary to actually have it down on paper of what you spend a day, but I definitely see why it's beneficial to write it down so you become a little bit wiser on what you're actually spending your money on.
Absolutely. And the technology's out there, the apps are there to help you track that. Pay yourself first. Think about your regular expenses, think about those irregular expenses, think about the total real world cost of Lucy, then thinking about saving and how you can put at least 1,000 dirhams aside each month.
1,000's doable, it's definitely doable, but maybe I need to cut down on my coffees a week.
At least cut out the syrup.
I'll be saving 6 dirham a day if I cut down on the syrup.